Hello, today I'm going to walk you through the basics of obtaining funding for AAC devices in early intervention in Colorado. Please note that this video covers general introductory information and it is not meant to be an exhaustive training. Please check with your EI program manager for specific details in your region. You can find additional resources in the video description. This tutorial was created for learning purposes only and does not constitute an endorsement of any product or service. Before beginning, it is important to note that this entire process must be completed by a licensed speech-language pathologist to apply for funding. While other professionals may be an important part of the AT team and assist in the AAC assessment, only a licensed SLP who is qualified to provide AAC services can complete the assessment process and complete the paperwork to request a speech-generating device. For the AAC evaluation process to be done well requires several months, so it is not something that can be completed in a couple of weeks. We've broken down the basic process of requesting funding for an AAC device into 4 main steps. 1. Check funding sources. 2. Trial dedicated devices and collect data for evaluation report. 3. Ensure the client sees a physician and acquires the appropriate prescription for a DME speech-generating device. 4. Complete funding packet. A good first step is to check with the client's insurance to ensure the devices you are planning to trial would be covered. Contact the insurance provider to ask if they fund durable medical equipment, including speech-generating devices, accessories, and mounts. Once you know what insurance will cover, you will have the information you need to seek alternate funding options to acquire a device for the child. You'll need to go through the funding hierarchy to get devices funded in Colorado. Knowing your client's insurance status will help you know in advance what funds need to be secured through which source if their insurance doesn't cover the full cost. If a child has more than one insurance, all insurance types would need to be accessed before requesting Part C funds. In addition, be sure to check with your EI program manager about alternate funding sources before requesting Part C funds. Items purchased with Part C funds typically must be returned to the state once the child turns 3 and is no longer eligible for early intervention. See the link in the video description for more information on the funding hierarchy. Once you know the funding options, you can choose devices to trial. If you need help deciding which devices to trial, contact the Tech for Tykes team and we'll be happy to help. You'll need to trial at least 3 devices made by 2 different vendors using at least 2 different language systems within those devices. An iPad could be used as a screening tool to help determine which devices and language systems to include in the trial, but it cannot be used as a trial device. Medicaid will not cover an iPad as a communication device, nor will it approve any funding requests that used an iPad as a trial device. So you must complete a trial with a dedicated communication device rather than a tablet with a communication app. If an iPad is the best device for the user, funding can be sought through private grants or other means that are not Medicaid. Contact Tech for Tykes if you need more information on iPads. It's a good idea to keep notes during the device trials to make completion of the evaluation report simpler and more comprehensive. All information in the evaluation report must point to why you arrived at the device you are requesting, so be sure to report on what the client did with each device and why that excludes it from consideration or makes it a good choice. Specific examples are helpful. The report reviewers will want to know why this specific device is necessary and why a less expensive or more low-tech solution would not be sufficient. The following components are required in the evaluation report: client's background information, speech and language abilities, including receptive and expressive, cognitive abilities, physical abilities, mobility status, hearing and vision, daily communication needs, rationale for device selection, SGDs considered and/or tried, recommended SGD and accessories and mounts, including specific names and HCPCS codes, functional communication goals, treatment plan, disclosure, and signature. There are multiple AAC evaluation report examples online. You aren't required to use the exact form provided by the device vendor, but it may be helpful if you don't already have a template. You can find a variety of templates by putting AAC Evaluation Report Template into your preferred search engine. Note that if you are billing Medicaid, there are a number of legal, ethical, and professional issues that SLPs who are providing services and submitting claims to Medicaid for reimbursement should review. See the link in the video description to review ASHA's Introduction to Medicaid. During the trial process, the family will need to call the child's primary care physician to schedule a face-to-face visit. This will need to be timed thoughtfully, as the visit must take place within 6 months of submission of the funding packet. The wait time to get the visit scheduled and the duration of the AAC assessment process are factors to consider. During the visit, the family should request a face-to-face visit note, a letter of medical necessity, and a prescription for a speech-generating communication device. This information must be provided by a licensed physician, nurse practitioner, or physician's assistant. As you approach the end of your trials and have an idea of which device is going to be the best fit, go to the website for the vendor of that device to see if they have a funding portal. Some companies, such as PRC Saltillo, Tobii Dynavox, and Forbes AAC, have created these funding portals so that licensed SLPs can log in to see what information needs to be submitted and start a file for the client's funding packet. It is also a good idea to get connected to the regional sales representative at this stage. The sales rep will provide orientation and support to the family once the device has arrived. And they can provide support to the SLP to make sure the funding packet has the best chance of being approved. Some companies even have funding teams that will review the SLP's evaluation report before submitting it. If you aren't sure how to contact the regional sales rep for the device you are leaning towards, contact the Tech for Tykes team for support. The funding packet will include the full AAC evaluation report, the physician's letter of medical necessity and prescription, copies of the front and back of the client's insurance card, and any other forms or signature pages required by the vendor. Do not submit the funding packet until all documents are complete and included, as an incomplete packet will be quickly rejected. Today we reviewed the general process for requesting funding for AAC devices in early intervention in Colorado. Here are some important things to keep in mind, especially when considering the child's birthday. It typically takes about 2 to 3 months to complete a full evaluation. It typically takes about 3 months to receive the device once all documentation has been submitted and approved. The purchase request code for equipment is good only once every 5 years through Medicaid, so it's important to take your time and get the right device, accessories, mounts, and warranties. If a child is approaching their 3rd birthday, it does not mean the assessment process should not be started, but this should be a consideration depending on the proposed funding source. Part C funds are no longer available to fill in any funding gaps once the child turns 3. Additional resources can be found here and in the video description below. If you'd like more information about assistive technology for children birth to age 3, please contact the Tech for Tykes program. You can also visit our website at techfortykes.org. Thank you for watching.